What's going on, everybody? Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds, hanging with the crew on a Monday. We have, as always, my host, co-host, Mr. Rob, the Retro Tech Dad. We have Aish Talks Tech. And we are here live with Mr. Kerry Gollum, the Phawx himself, back for another round with the old RH crew. How's it going, man?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, Rob is. Can I just point out how giddy Rob is right now? He is literally bouncing up and down in his seat because he nerds out over every aspect of x86 handhelds.
Yeah, they're awesome. I share that enthusiasm.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, today we're going to talk about maybe ARM's better. I don't know.
We're
going to throw down.
I talked to you about this before. We can actually have a callback to this. It's going to be great. So almost 2 years ago, pretty much 2 years ago and change, a little bit like 1 year and 350 days, I was in the Retro Handhelds podcast, and we were talking about ARM for a brief moment. And I was like, there's no real benefit to ARM over x86. And when you get down to it, it's performance-wise and power-wise, you're going to find out that x86 can compete. And sure enough, when X Elite came out, we found that to be the case. So, yeah, I feel vindicated that I had said that 2 years ago, and when we can recall that, we can bring that back up. And I have receipts when I said that, but there's some benefits to ARM. There's some benefits to ARM, clear benefits. And I did that video, I did a video that was like on real standby time, and a lot of people were upset at me about just showcasing that. They were like, no.
Why? Wait, why?
They just said that I was picking on Intel and I'm an AMD fanboy, and I showed unrealistic results for Intel because, everyone loves Windows Modern Standby. No one has a problem with Windows Modern Standby. Whoa. That is like the best. Whoa. Yeah.
You don't like the surprise? Like when you turn it on, you're like, oh, wait, it's dead. That's the best part. That's the best part. Come on.
Why is it so hot? Wait, why is it? Oh, it's mid-update.
Why is my fan running when it's supposed to be off like 2 hours ago?
Weren't you just hyping Meteor Lake or Lunar Lake? Sorry.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Lunar Lake. I'm very optimistic on Lunar Lake. There's some interesting stuff that they have going on in there. Intel, for what it's worth, especially in the back in the day, they were a little bit better with understanding a frame cap and allocating power only to match a frame cap. And taking a look at their 3D Mark stuff, it does look like we're going to. It does look like we're actually going to get a repeat of that. So I'm very optimistic on taking a look at that, and I should actually be able to get early access, hopefully this time with MSI. MSI recognized me at
really?
Computex. Yeah,
they said, "Oh, this guy Phawx."
The girl was like, "I know you," and I was like, "Oh no,
wait a minute!
I'm gonna get
that guy who shares all those graphs."
I was telling Stubbs before we went live that with your latest videos comparing the new X Elite chips, that I think it was last season when we were talking about emulation, and it was something about ARM and with the Steam Deck, and I was saying how when you really start to push ARM, the actual difference in power consumption isn't as great as people lead on to believe it is. And then I saw your videos, I was like, I felt so, like you said, so vindicated by that, because chat like went on me and they're like, he doesn't understand the efficiencies of ARM, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I was like, dude, try running a demanding game on ARM and let's see how your battery life goes. Like, we're not even going to get technical with it. Just try it and come back to me.
Yeah, there was also what was it? The Odin, when the Odin had like a Windows, so Skyrim was run on it. And I was taking a look at the power consumption, and I was like, that's not better than a GPD Win 2. Like the GPD Win 2 does better than this. So I'm not too sure why anyone's impressed by this. And the problem is that especially for anyone that's like super deep into it, that can get super lost in the weeds. And it's a thing. But I now that it's become apparent and it's such a big release. Oh, you got one as well?
But I have a clap back here. But I know I heard you about x86, but have you ever seen an x86 laptop in gold?
No.
Like this?
No.
Pure, just pure gold.
Pure gold. Wow.
This is the Microsoft Surface Laptop 7 Plus model, because you don't need the Elite, Rob. You don't need the Elite. Don't save your money. And ARM does it all. The standby time, like Kerry was saying, is ridiculous.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And for productivity, it's awesome. But I would say in 5 years from now that ARM could beat x86. That's my guess.
So when we get into the nitty gritty of it, like when you take a look at Lunar Lake, their memory on package design, when you take a look at package power, including the RAM on there, then think about the next generation of x86 where they might have Intel's wireless communication side. Remember they had that big deal with Apple for a while. Their wireless stuff is killer. You take a look at their Intel AX200, AX210, those are killer chipsets. Now imagine that Intel AX2 whatever or AX300 is now on package. Now if wireless can be on package, they can modulate power a lot more, because remember, when you're a modern standby, it's connected standby. So whatever needs to connect to the internet and stuff and do stuff, it's going to take power. You have that on package. Now they're going to self-regulate that a whole bunch. Now you're going to have something where ARM is going to be like, our one advantage. Intel can come back here.
You think so?
I in the next few years that you're seeing this, I think you're going to start seeing x86 really start bumping up. Insofar as looking at Lunar Lake, Lunar Lake is a MacBook M1 like design.
Yeah,
and M1 Apple came out and just laid down the gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
So here's the deal: when Apple made the M1, no one from Apple stopped them. No one stopped the engineers. The engineers were just like, okay, what does a CPU need? Let's just put a giant amount of cache. Think about this. This shit came, 2019, 2020? L1 and L2 cache is still larger on that CPU than it is on 6800U, 7840U on AMD today. Okay?
Right.
4 years later, that M1 chip still has more cache on it. They were advanced the node.
Apple's just ahead, right? I mean,
they
have a couple
money.
Years on them.
Not only so. Here's the deal. Think about it's sometimes not a technological problem as to why something isn't good. It is a whiz-biz problem. I always say whiz-biz. It's a business problem. If you have someone that is controlling the money, right, and they're saying, how are we going to sell next year's product to our customers if we make something too good? That is the M1. The M1 is so good that how do you sell the M2 to anyone? How do you sell the M3 to anyone?
Right. You don't need it. You just stick with your M1.
That Apple is facing that right now. And now you have things like there's these artificial constraints that they put in there. They're like, well, let's put 8 gigs of system RAM. Let's just say that that's enough, when it clearly isn't, right? So they've made a baseline, basement for just an unrealistic amount of system RAM. So people's only reason for upgrading later on is just to increase total RAM capacity rather than performance. And that's what they're getting suckered into right now. So there's a lot of people just buying the low cost version and getting suckered into a low capacity version. And that's the only reason that they're going to upgrade, because otherwise there's zero reason.
Yep. They let nerds nerd, and that's what happened.
Hey man, if you can make one of your fancy handy dandy x86 loves come in this sweet gold color, you got my attention.
Oh, let me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hog this so much, but I gotta just. We were at the Zotac.
I'll let you finish.
We were at the Zotac Secret Space and Computex, me and Stubbs, and we were like reviewing the zone, and we were going over everything, and I'm like just drilling into this thing. I'm just like saying everything bad.
I think our producer ban. He's not here. I don't know why I'm yelling. I think we have a clip to play. Carrie, if you want to let the clip speak for itself for maybe up to 30 seconds, I have it ready to go.
Yeah,
should we do it?
Yeah, do it. Go.
Okay, all right. Oh no. Okay, let me share my screen. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Should I just commentate while you get this set up?
Yeah. You
comment. I'm sure your password again.
I'm going ahead. I'm drilling the Zotac zone into the ground, right? I'm like, this is terrible. It's, for what it's worth, I feel like the current EDP to MIPI adapter that they have is what is the current problem, because it's only at 60 hertz and they're claiming it's a 120 hertz panel, but you can see frame tearing on it like crazy. It is a portrait-based panel. There's a bunch of other things that are just weird and not good for it. And I'm saying all these like technical things, and Stubbs is like, I don't know, the X button could be in a different location. And I'm like, oh, it needs to be gold. That's the problem. It's not gold.
They said they're changing from a rose gold. No, they said they're changing from the current gold to a rose gold hue at the end of it. And I said, okay, we just clearly have different priorities. And I was commenting back to you, like, we have very different priorities as reviewers, clearly. And I thought that it was heartwarming, because I've never had another reviewer who's so far on the opposite end of the field that we can kind of ping pong like that.
That was a good video.
I loved it, man. We'll have to share real quick.
That was a 9 minute video that you could have just sent. No editing. There was no fat on that video. You just send it.
Send it, good to go. I know I've been hesitant because I'm like, do I want to completely ruin this relationship with this brand? But the video is so good. No, I thought you were. I know I gave you a hard time in it that you weren't fair, but I thought it was deserved, and I I probably was too light on it at the time. So let me preface that in this video. But
it was comfortable. But dude, like everything that we were coming, like that we were doing the kickstand, and then it started grinding against the internal fan. We're like, oh,
yeah, and you're like 60 hertz. You're like, nope.
This came through pretty clearly on camera.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway. So that's the preface, and you've been warned. So here you go. This video uses an H.265 that your browser does. It's a Microsoft. This is the Microsoft Edge browser.
Sure. It's always something else, right?
Stay tuned for that one. But I do
an interpretive dancing version of it.
I have an equally
you guys
good
could
version.
recreate it.
We
pretend
could.
that you're looking at it right now.
I'm gonna get it going during the stream. I just need to share it in some other way.
It was a great video. It was a great video.
I also have this, which is an equally great video. So here we have the Phawx eating corn in a cup from Taiwanese McDonald's. How do you feel, Carrie?
10 out of 10.
Oh, perfect. It looks delicious. Let me see some of that corn action.
It may seem like corn, and in fact, you'd be correct.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was the most bizarre thing. I was expecting something way different. Like I always geek out about going to different McDonald's in different territories, and I was like, "Oh, corn soup! Yeah, I don't know what that is." And it was a can of corn that they put into a cup and warmed it up, and I was just like, well, "Come on, guys, that's not corn soup."
And then
sounds like McDonald's.
And then it looked so bad, but I had to have it also, so I tried it, and it was absolutely just average, very average corn.
Awful.
I feel like that would be a hit in the Midwest if you add ranch.
It looks like they took this can and put it in a cup.
Yeah.
They left the juices in there and everything.
Just slapped it over to me.
I'm just gonna say it. Nobody does corn in a cup like Mexico. Okay, if you've never had it, you got to try it out.
I've never had it.
I want fancy creamed corn.
I'll Google it later and I'll show you guys. But yeah, if you've never had it, you're missing out.
Send me some, please. We need to have a creamed corn off, and I think we are gonna get that going.
I'll send you like how to make it. I don't think it'll do very well in shipping.
We'll see. But yeah. So I'm gonna get that video working. So stay tuned for that. And then also, we ran into Gamers Nexus for a moment.
We did, yeah.
And that was kind of awkward and different because we were in the middle of filming a bit.
Yeah, and I also didn't know if he was doing something. I didn't really want to bother him, so I was like, I'll just give him his
leave
space.
him alone.
Yeah.
Well, that'll introduce our last clip to make up for the fact I couldn't get the other one going. Randomly, Gamers Nexus spotting. Also, look at this. Hey, Carrie, can you get me on this real quick? Here we have this scenic thing with water.
Nice. No one can hear you, right?
It has AI, Gary. It'll isolate me.
Not gonna do shit.
Isolate me.
No.
Anyways, it looks very nice.
In fact, they didn't do shit.
No one can hear you, right? That was my favorite part. Okay. All right, this is our longest intro ever. We're having too much fun, guys. But let's get into the show. If you guys are ready to rock some news, how you feeling?
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. Live chat, how you doing? Stubbs, you cut it off too soon.
Yeah.
Well,
that was the whole bit that Stubbs was doing, where he's like, "This thing sucks," and then he would run away.
Yeah, we were doing micro reviews, so we just walked to booth, and I'd look at something. This thing's the worst, and then just run off.
Run off, yeah.
We kept doing that. I'm gonna comp together some sort of travel log video, but I need to run it by all you dudes and make sure it's good to go. And
for me, it's fine. I don't care what you use me. Even the what?
Is this the thing about the guy in the
mic? I'm trying to
mic?
get you to admit to something right now. I don't know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I still have to do a Zotac Zone video and the XPG video. I've been meaning to do that, but work has been just killing me lately, and I've been behind on a bunch. So no, I mean even after this podcast, I have to like go to sleep immediately. I have to wake up at 5 a.m.
No,
it's okay.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
All right. Well, we won't waste too much of the Phawx's time today. Let's hop on over to the news, everybody. And okay, so. And Matt, to answer your question, I have Medal of Honor again, so I didn't change the game this week. Please forgive my shortcomings. And okay, so first off, we have to start at the show by saying happy 50K to our good friend, Mr. Retro Tech Dad. Our Retro Tech Daddy.
Good job, dude.
Guys, I appreciate it. I can't believe it. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, I remember when you were starting out and you were around 1K when we met, somewhere around there, and it's just wild. It's only been 2 years?
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
I remember when you did your Win 600 video and I did mine at around the same time.
That's where it all began.
And I was like, okay, dude, I got some questions for you.
Limits, you know.
You got Retro Tech Mommy in the chat.
Oh, she doesn't know we all just call him Daddy.
Oh, she knows.
Yeah. Okay.
She knows, and there's been several death threats to Stubbs.
Okay. I keep forgetting to make. I need to update your meme. It's blank time to it's 50K time, but I keep forgetting to do it. I'll do it today.
Yeah, we need it.
I call BS on that, Bill. He said the same thing when I hit 10K.
Yeah. Something's up.
I'm just gonna unsub and resub.
Well,
yeah, it's been a ride. It's been awesome though. It's been a lot of fun, and just also being able to meet everybody at CES too was just so much fun for me. Easily one of the most memorable things I've done with the whole YouTube thing.
Yeah, we got to get everybody together again for 2025.
I can't wait. I'm already looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, having you on this podcast, I just have to say, has been one of the thrills and honors of my life. To quote Carrie, it sparks joy to have Rob around.
You spark joy in my life, Stubbs.
Oh no, you and Aish too, and Carrie too, and
Definitely.
X86 and ARM both can exist together, and we love them equally.
It certainly does on my channel. I go back and forth constantly between X86 and ARM devices, so it's fun to see the differences between the architectures.
No, you have to take an unreasonable stand and just be it's one way or the other. That's how the internet works. Have you not been on
hard chill? You have to hard
but that's
chill.
No fun.
No. It's a hard shield one way or the other, or Reddit's gonna hate you, and even if you do, they're still gonna hate you. That's just how.
That's true. That's actually absolutely true. It doesn't matter what you do, Reddit will hate you regardless.
Yeah, as they should.
Tribalism is alive and well.
Yes, going very good. Well, should we hop into and announce the games?
Yes.
The new games of the month. That's right. It's Game of the Month July, and July Animal has an article up on our website, but the winners are Crystallis, Beetle Adventure Racing, and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective.
It's time to play Ghost Trick again.
That's a good one too.
And Final Fantasy X. Or Final Fantasy X for you purists. All pretty solid, I'd say. Yeah, just show the symbol. Beetle Adventure Racing. I played that a little bit last night, and it's a really clunky N64 game. The driving mechanics, but I didn't play it when I was a kid, so to me, it's like I'm coming at it from like.
I think you mean to say it's just an N64 game.
It's an N64 with the funny physics. Then I hop over to like Need for Speed 3 on PS1, and it's the same sort of feeling. But I played that as a kid, so I'm like, this is somehow tangibly better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a charming little game though. Plus, it's a game that focuses on just Beetles. It's kind of wild in terms of a concept. And EA published it, which is even crazier. Of like,
super
how
crazy.
Did this all happen?
I don't know. They were a different company back then. And Crystallis, fun, little, not little, but pretty big RPG, but it looks little on the RG Cube screen. And Ghost Trick for the DS. That one I haven't played before, so we'll have to see.
That's really good.
And Final Fantasy X I need to beat still. That's been on my to beat list for maybe 10 years.
Ghost Trick's just a good time.
It is a good time, yeah.
I'm gonna try it out. It's like a one you have to use a stylus for, right? So can you emulate it, or do I need a DS?
Yeah, I mean, just to do it on the Cube.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say perfect use case for your Cube.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'll take a look at that. And speaking of Cube, scroll down. It is handheld of the month around here. That's right.
Yeah.
That living that 1-to-1
Cube time.
aspect ratio life. And we get some DS on there. The overlay actually doesn't look too bad. Carrie, what are your thoughts on the overlay? It's very important.
I actually like what Anbernic has been doing, even with like the RG35 XDX SP when they started putting on overlays and stuff just to like fill it out a little bit more, just from like the stock firmware type of thing. I like what they're doing. Insofar as what they're doing with the DS, it's fine because what else are you gonna do with the available screen space? It's fine for me. As long as it's not a giant waste of space, then I'm usually all for it.
Yeah. But as far as like just having the overlay as an option, do you prefer like just black screen or having the graphics?
If it's going to be an overlay, I like what they did with the GBA SP when they tried to recreate how the GBA SP was. With that was like to the next level. And if you're just going to do what the device is, or if you're going to like put it inside of like a CRT like box overlay, that's kind of fine and all good in it. But it's if you can find the avenue where you can increase the authenticity in any means, that's nice. I like it. So how that looks on the DS, that's fine. But I probably, at this point, I really just use a 3DS for DS and 3DS games.
Yeah,
You can turn it off pretty
I got
easy
to show
too.
you this, the 1-to-1 stack.
Nice.
Rob is an adopter. I'm coming around to it still. I'm coming around to the form factor. I'm finding more and more use cases. The fact that Dolphin has that funny kind of widescreen hack where you can natively stretch it.
Awesome for it.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
But it doesn't work on every games, and we'll talk about that. It's one of the topics here as well. But it's not. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. It's just I realize logically there's less black bars on the top and the bottom when you compare to 16:9, but I'm not there yet. I'm like, I'd rather have bars on the sides than the top than the up and down. But I'm still loving the device in general.
I think the biggest problem with Anbernic, and I always say this every week, is just the amount of devices. They need to slow down, just kind of spread those releases out, build a little bit of a community around the device.
Right.
It's just we
you
dump a
need
new
to
one and keep on moving to the next one.
Give us time to love the device. Give us time to find.
Yeah.
That conversation actually came up when we were at Too Many Games when we did the Nerd Nest live. We talked about just too many handhelds coming out. Everyone's getting burned out, exhausted, drowning in handhelds. And largely it comes down to people like for us, I don't think it's so much of a problem because we can intuit what we should anticipate out of the hardware. Like if you're taking a look at it, like, a TA10, okay, well, I know what that is performance wise inside whatever envelope that is, and it has this screen. Okay, so I have my anticipations for that. But for other people, they can get a little lost in the weeds when they look at a new handheld. And even Russ from Retro Gamer Corp, he said something that I didn't anticipate to be the case. I'm not in that mind space, but people look at them as consoles. So if you iterate on a console, it's like, the one I have is obsolete. This is the new, better one. And it's like, no, it's just another Rock Chip 35, whatever.
Exactly.
So, but that gets lost in the weeds for people, and that makes things more difficult for them, and they get analysis paralysis, and they have a hard time doing anything and wind up doing nothing. And what Anbernic may or may not be doing is leaning in on the people that are basically handheld collectors at this point. And if they're like $50, they're like, whatever, I'll just get another one and see how I like it, because at a certain price point it doesn't matter. And then there's some people that's like, I'll just give this to my nephew, I'll give this to my son. And it just becomes this like hand me down heaven type of thing where they're just kind of trying to see if they can find their own perfect device. I will say at Too Many Games, the one handheld that came up every time someone went up to Russ was the RG35 XDX SP, the good old clamshell. Clamshells are superior.
That one's probably their most popular device that they've had in a while.
Yeah, everyone had that device. What's funny is there was this dude that was like a 7 foot tall biker. I mean, dude was ginormous, And his favorite device, the one that he used, was the RG28XDX. So this tiny little thing. It was just like, and then he was talking about like the RG Nano, and I'm like, what?
That's a real man right there. He's not compensating for anything.
Yeah.
I also have to say, man, thank you to Bill for loaning you out from the Nerd Nest podcast for a week. To hang out with us and just that crew. We'd love to have Bill on as well sometime. I know we have Russ on as a regular, and I haven't met your fan the deck. I think the gentleman from that, Rich. Yeah. I haven't talked to him. I don't think I've talked to him before.
Rich is really good. Rich is plugged in like I am.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and anything, whatever feed is coming in, he knows what's up.
I listen to you guys every week. It's an awesome show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're fans of Nerd Nest, and I think we couldn't find another retro podcast of this style in the scene. I think Retro Dodo might have had one or still has one, and Nerd Nest, us. I'm always looking for other podcasts to chat with and do some collabs with. But that'd be
There's
cool.
others
like
that
crossover episode.
Do something like it. Like there's one called Into the Aether, but they kind of go into more general media too. Like sometimes they'll do movies. Or they'll just talk about like retro game stuff like that, but they're similar
Nice.
but not the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's shades of the retro.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. All right, guys. Well, I am thinking, as long as we're talking about one-on-ones, should we talk about the A1 Unicorn?
Yeah,
sure.
That's a perfect time for it.
Should we do that? Because I got one here, so I figure we can take a quick look-see together. So this one came in and for review, and it has a G99 with 6 gigs of RAM. It's supposed to come in less than the RG Cube. That's what ZPG has been saying here. And I don't know what the exact price is. I've heard rumors 130, 140 maybe. So I hope that they can get under 150 to be competitive, because it's going to be less performant than the Cube. It just is. But the positives I found in it so far were just the screen, no light bleed.
Yeah, that's
Good.
Positive.
How's the D-pad?
There you go. The D-pad actually was really good. I found it better than the Cube as far as like Hadouken tests and Street Fighter. I'll pull it up here in a second. But also the face buttons, not the hugest fan. They're clicky, kind of like a quiet micro switch, but with feels like a membrane underneath though. So it's kind of like it's a quiet clicky, and reminds me like the GKD Pixel, that sort of clicky button. And yeah, the D-pad actually performs really well. But there's been an issue with the left stick, unfortunately. Is the one thing on it is that it's not getting full range of motion. So when you're in like a PS Vita game, your character, when you're starting to walk or when you're starting to run,
he'll walk.
To switch over to walking, you have to hit the edges of the joystick, and it never happens on the left side.
This is for PSP.
This is for PS Vita on the Unicorn here.
So PS Vita emulation.
The PS Vita emulation. Yeah, which by the way, which works in here admirably. I was playing Persona 4 Golden is the game I'm testing with right now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more stable ones for Vita 3K.
Vita 3K is weird because the game is either going to work or it's just straight up not going to work. There's like
I noticed that. There's like no in between.
Yeah, it's like you can play Borderlands 2, you can play Persona 4, you can play Gravity Rush, but you can't play Super Meat Boy. I don't know what's up with that.
The one thing I was going to say is on PPSSPP, you can actually go into the settings and make it that you can fix the square circle on.
Really?
On yeah. So if you don't have full range, you can kind of make it full range.
Can I just say that PPSSPP is like gold tier standard for
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they have the retro achievements.
It's so just incredible. I mean, really.
It really changes the way you play PSP games. Like a bunch of the games that you had to use like the L and R buttons for camera control, you can just map them to sticks. It's a better way. Like I tried playing on a PSP a few weeks ago, and I was like, nah, I'm good, thank you.
No.
That's the perfect screen to be playing PS Vita games.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when Stubbs
stretches. Stubbs loves this.
Here's the thing: is that there is an option in Vita 3K to stretch it if you want.
Perfect. That's the way you do it.
You should see him play some PSP. He loves stretching it.
Hey, now that's just to mess with you, Rob. But I do.
Oh, sure.
In private, when no one's looking, I sometimes stretch.
Does that have a?
When no one's looking, you're probably stretching everything.
Stubbs, is that a grip on it?
Oh yeah, so this came with. This is an
Oh.
additional accessory you'd have to purchase. And by the way, if you're interested in this, don't overpay the $200 or whatever dollars they have it for in AliExpress right now. The official store from ZPG is opening up soon, and for Western buyers, and so you'll be able to buy it at the retail cost finally, not $180, $190, whatever they have it right now. So, but there's this case you can pick up, and yeah, this little grip you can add on, which I found to be really nice personally. It adds like a nice kind of matte texture to the device and makes it a little more grippy on the back. Shoulder buttons. Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a real quick question? Slight off topic, just because I saw you had the case there. When Anbernic ships you guys the cases, do you guys keep them? Because I chuck them.
Yeah, I have a drawer.
I have a drawer too.
It's like a it's like a ritual at this point. I don't know. I have a bin. I have a tote. Just
so
cases.
At the wild thing for me is that I saw people with RG35 XDX SPs and they were using the Anbernic case. And I'm like, it's already a clamshell, guys. Like you don't need more protection. But yeah, I saw people using them.
I said that same thing about the SP, I think, to ban on our team here, that like, hey, yeah, it's already clamshell. It's almost nostalgic to dirty it up and sort of let it get nicked up a bit, especially that silver model.
I was gonna say the silver one for sure.
So
for the nostalgia factor,
I was
put a tribal tattoo on it.
When I brought it to Taiwan, I purposely left it out of a case and like had it bounce around the airplane a bit, and it came back with some nicks, and I was really happy to see that. Yeah, like, yeah, it feels like my old SP now.
Yeah, my OG SP is all types of torn up. That's a solid 20 FPS you're getting there.
You have to Stubbs, you have to go, and there's a setting you can change that'll give you like the correct FPS on Vita 3K for that game.
Oh, it's just not displaying correctly because it feels
it's a 20 right now, but I forgot which setting it is. You can go in there and switch that, and it'll bump up to the 30. Because you can even get this game full speed, I think, on the T618 handhelds.
This one feels solid. Yeah. I was gonna say, but so the issue with the joystick was driving me crazy though, and so you have to. What I had to do, and I fixed it now, by the way. Here's what you have to do if you get this handheld. I just wanted to call this out. Is, by the way, I'm using this beacon launcher as the front end, and I have it boot as the home app. So it's, to me, it feels like a Linux device a bit more like that, which I prefer. So if you go into settings and you go down to system and joystick calibration, what you have to do is not mess up.
Tired,
right now.
You got to let it rest.
Yeah. So I noticed you have to set the dead zone radius to 65. Come on, you. And the centering deviation to about 50 or so, 40, somewhere around there. And then you have to calibrate both left and right, and then it gives you correct values.
So then there's no like actual like distance that it's responding then, right? Yeah. So now it's
better.
This is, I'll have to, I had a video earlier of when it was not working correctly and it was driving me crazy, but you can fix that. I'm just saying, if you run into that issue, just pop in here, increase these values, and technically, I think, I don't know, Carrie, if you know this, technically, am I still getting full range of motion right now, or am I just tricking the system by changing the values?
No, I mean, if it's reporting, you should use other tools to take a look at it. Okay. I would be very curious about how bad that dead zone is now, if that, is giganto now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that with such a big dead zone, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of range for actual analog inputs.
He's just trying to make the analog stick into a D-pad, that's all.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just digital now.
Yeah. It's just
So surprisingly, like, and I tried it like in little increments from like 1 to up to 65, and that's the minimum I had to go to not still run into that issue. So
when you press the calibrate button, do you have to like make a circular motion on the analog stick?
No, that's the odd thing. I've never seen it like that before.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
That is pretty weird.
I thought that was a little different.
So typically when you have any type of calibration, they want to find out where the you have to make the edges. So you do a circle on the analog stick. And one thing that you can do as like a hack is you can put like a topper on top of it to make it make it reach the edges in a nice clean circle, but to increase the radius. So that'd be one way that you can do it. So you have greater motion, but it would be more finicky. It would be like very, very sensitive whenever you go in any particular direction. Likewise, if you were to like take off the top, if you could somehow take off the top and then do a full circle when you're doing calibration, it would obviously give greater values. But when you put the top,
don't exit yet. Don't exit yet. Oh no! Try to make him walk, and then you'll see if you actually have like how much range you actually have.
For you, Aish, I'll do it. Okay. What are we doing? Persona 4? No. Yes.
Your fingers are broken.
Yep.
Like consistently. That's impressive. He's just.
It's not the first time I've been told that.
Consistently inconsistent. That's fantastic. That's actually at least
is that a talent? Is that a talent?
60% of the time it works every time.
Yeah. If you can be predictably off, that's fine enough. You can calibrate around that.
There's a lot of quotes in this episode.
Oh, there's a lot of quotes. I can give you some of mine that are mine while you're doing this. So here's one I have that I live by, and it's not the best advice, but it's one that I do live by. It's if you're gonna do something wrong, you might as well do it right.
You told me that at like 3 different points.
Yeah. It's
every time before I made a bad decision, you're like, listen.
Yeah. Like, well, if I'm gonna have one slice of pizza, I might as well have 8.
10.
It's the worst advice. And then the other one is you can only ever be 99% sure of anything.
Very true.
I mean, those are solid words to live by.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
He goes walking.
I didn't love that.
Game
it was driving me crazy initially. But
it should have analog triggers though.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be those inline buttons. Like with the G99, you can get a good amount of GameCube running, and with that, like it should have analog triggers.
Please don't be stretched. Don't show my shame. Come on. Retro achievements are working though, so that's good. Okay. It's in 4.3. It's in 4.3, okay? Yeah. So just calm down, Rob. Just calm down now.
We're gonna have a long intro here.
Yeah.
This is fast forward. There you go. That's what I love about RetroArch.
Okay, so he's walking.
Yeah.
He's walking. He's running.
That's not too bad. They just have to fix it in software though, so that you don't have to do it when you buy it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. That's the thing.
Exactly.
And I suppose before anybody gets angry who's watching this maybe later, we better show a 1-to-1 game, at least one.
Pico 8.
Just stretch a PSP game. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
It is 1-to-1.
No
right?
difference. I was gonna say you just went to PlayStation 2 for a 1-to-1 game.
Just now, I'm working on it. Let me start my life out here.
Don't forget to put it into widescreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put in widescreen hacks and then stretch it out.
Please don't be stretched.
Hey, I've actually been liking GameCube games that way. Like the UI gets stretched a little bit, but Wind Waker looks really good with the widescreen hacks on a 1-to-1 screen.
Yeah, I could see that being super clean. Perfect.
Is that what you want, Rob?
Yeah,
Rob?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Stubbs discovered this. Yeah.
Is this what you want?
Why is that setting even available?
Is this what you wanted? Are you happy now?
Oh.
Does this please you?
Makes me weep.
I can't
You
even
just keep saving the same game.
Am I saving the game?
It's because you can't read anything.
No, I don't know. Reading's overrated. It's fine.
That's true.
Okay, now for serious guys, serious. Throw me off. Let's find an actual Pico 8.
I think Pico 8 or Game Gear would work. Isn't Game Gear 1x1 or is it
It's pretty close, yeah.
10? What was it? 10x9 or something like that?
It's
Where do the kids play these days?
Yeah.
Celeste?
You could do supervision, Watara supervision.
That does look super clean.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect reason to buy this game. So,
What I've
yeah,
been liking about Pico 8 on Android is that if you do it with RedCharge, you can put some
Kill.
shaders over it. So you can do like a CRT shader or like a LCD grid for like a Game Boy game. And Pico 8 games look really good with those.
I'll have to try that out, man. That's
Yeah, like if you
And
want to give it a
you go
CRT
nuts with
look,
shaders. That's the thing. If you get a more powerful chip like the G99 or the
Oh no,
Yeah.
stop! Switch to the
Get that
D-pad
scrubbery.
quickly. Use the D-pad. Someone's gonna complain about that.
oh, true.
I was.
yeah, you can do fake CRT geom and it'll
I've
give
earned
you
it.
like the nice little like curve edges and
No.
the CRT lines, scan lines.
Is it a skill to be so bad?
Hey, I'm trying to focus on hearing what the man Aish has to say and play at the same time. So here's the thing:
job.
is that the buttons are shorter.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the buttons.
Let's start talking about the buttons.
Oh, that's classic. Yeah, the control's broken.
yeah.
No, the buttons are good. I'm just it is a skill issue, guys. No,
Jeez Louise.
you're making me nervous now. You're making
Hey
me work.
man, I played Metal Slug with a broken controller with Russ, and I didn't use that excuse. Come on, you got this.
I'm laughing too much.
Yeah, that's the problem. There we go. Yes.
Oh, this should go well.
Guys,
Watch him actually
Give me
get
some
this one the
confidence.
first.
give me I need your strength now.
Oh,
No.
that's incredible.
This is why she has anxiety.
I'm gonna die.
he's so bad that he's actually good at the platform. It's incredible.
Messing me up.
This really isn't that difficult, dude.
Ah.
Goodness gracious.
You're gonna die now.
Oh.
This is gonna be clipped by somebody later and held against me.
That's
All right, I'm
probably
gonna
pretty
focus.
low on the list.
I'm
of
not
things
gonna
we've
listen to you
done on
guys
this
anymore.
podcast, to be
I'm not
fair.
gonna listen.
I so desperately want to just reach through the screen and just take that from you.
For the audio listeners, Stubbs is trying to pass the second room in
No.
Classic Celeste, and he's not
Stop
having a good
entertaining
time.
me. Stop entertaining me right now. You need
Yeah,
to
he
stop.
don't.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. You guys are being hilarious.
The spiky ones kill you.
Goodness gracious, dude.
I really should not be doing this on camera right now.
I'm of the belief that you're doing this on purpose now.
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds good.
You need the key.
Anyways, so I'm bad at Celeste. I've played it pretty well in some of my videos before, or I've clipped to show you parts I played well. I can guarantee you one of those two realities.
All right, so what is it? ZPG Unicorn. What do you rate it?
Okay. So far, and I still need to make the videos. Not my final thoughts.
Yeah,
I've
not
had
your
it for
final.
3
Wait,
days.
yeah,
3
your
days. I've had,
early impressions.
Early impressions of it are that they need to improve it so I can play Celeste better. Because clearly, on other handhelds, I play that game better. Everyone knows that. Everyone's seen me rock that game. So I have to say that for my dignity to start with. Number 2, let's switch to the face cam. Can be more emotive. Right now, I would say, as of today, it's a solid 7 out of 10 for me. The face buttons, the kind of hybrid clicky, I don't know about that. But the D-pad, I love, and Hadoukens in Street Fighter are easy on that. And Celeste wasn't the best game in the show.
So wait, the D-pad's solid though. The D-pad's good.
The D-pad's solid, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I like it a bit more than the Cube in that regard. There's no fun lights though, but that's doesn't detract or attract a point really.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same screen from the Cube. It's just no light bleed, and
That's a plus.
it's more pocketable. That's one thing I can say about it. The shoulder buttons are inline, so
I don't
that's a
want any-
difference.
No more inline for me.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
So
So
glad
not
Anbernic stopped that. Or
not as
Yep.
comfortable in
Less.
that regard, but there's a fan on it, and it works pretty well. The chipset seems to be pretty power efficient. It drained like 3% overnight in about 12-hour period or so in standby, and more thoughts to come. And we'll see.
I'm
Fair enough.
hoping to get the
Yeah.
price under what the Cube is going for. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're gonna have to if they want to compete.
The D-pad on the Cube is the only thing I was kind of disappointed on, and not
Same.
because it's bad, It's just that I thought this was going to be the same D-pad as the Arc, and it's
That's
not.
what I thought too.
It just kind of looks like it, so I was kind of sad about that because the D-pad on the Arc is my favorite D-pad so far. So that's kind of the only thing I could complain about this thing right now, and clicky buttons. But you guys know how I feel about that.
I'm still impressed that Anbernic managed to pull off that D-pad on the Arc. It is probably
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, that's why I was excited to see it here, and it's not. So
I know
they
it's
pulled the fast one on that
I
one.
don't understand that they had a good design. They just stick to it.
So I'm a huge dome-based D-pad fan. I'm like a heavy bias on that. If it has it, I'm already in like I love it territory. We were actually having a running tally at too many games. Every time someone took out the RG35X DXSP, Russ was just talking about him, and I would go over shows like, "What do you think about the D-pad and buttons?" They're like, "Oh, I love them," and I'm like, "Yeah," and Russ was like, "Yeah, all right." It was like 4 for 4. Yeah. We got people
the
that love
SP is so divided because I feel like people either like it or don't, and I'm like, I was like, wait, this is amazing. They nailed it.
I
liked it after I modded it with the little tape thing. Now
Yeah,
I
that's-
really like it.
Mine is
I've heard
virgin. I
some-
left it alone.
There's some
Yeah.
people, that I've talked with that were doing the tape mod on it, and they preferred that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that people could find something they love. I'm fine with it as is. But yeah, like you said, like the Arc D-pad that they had done, that was so well done. My favorite membrane-based D-pad that they've ever done. So good.
As soon as I got the SP, the first thing I did is I cracked it open and I started messing with the D-pad. And I think by the next day I was like, okay, put 2 layers of tape over the D-pad, put 3 layers of tape over the buttons, and you're going to be set. And that's how I've had it, and I'm happy with it now.
Nice.
Before, I felt like it had too much travel. It was a little too loud, and it had more travel than I wanted it to have for a dome Switch D-pad. Afterwards, very happy with it now. I can even play it at night, which I was like, there's no way I can play this at night next to my wife. It's not going to work. And now it doesn't even bother me.
You know, Troy is so right about that. The Arc just never really captured anybody's attention that much. It was interesting.
I think it's
so good. It's actually a great handheld.
I think we're partially to blame with it for that because we, as a collective, not like any singling anybody out, we were kind of too caught up in this can't play Saturn.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was the general consensus instead of like, hey, this is a really, really good handheld, probably the best handheld for arcade games and Genesis and all of that. But no, we kind of all went towards it doesn't play Saturn, and people kind of got soured on it.
Yeah. Well, rightfully so, though, right? Because like,
of course,
had homage to it.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. It was unfortunate. Anbernic will probably just make another one next week anyway. So we'll get the TA10 version of the Arc.
Get the Arc XX Plus.
Yeah.
The Arc Plus.
Actually, you know what's I had what's his name? Goodness gracious, the main guy from Anbernic. What's his name? Max
Zhao.
Yeah. I talked to him on WeChat, and I was like, I showed him the Open Pandora, and I was like, could you just make something like this, please? And he was like, I'll think about it. And I was like, that's all I could ask.
Oh, that's a yes. We'll see this video in like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
They'll see where they'll fit it in the schedule for the year.
To wrap up, final thoughts for this on the Unicorn for now. Is it worth the asking price? I don't know what the asking price is. That's the other thing. Is it $130? Is it $190? Is it $150? We don't know yet. But I will let you know as soon as I know. And everybody, I think that, the Unicorn it's a good option. I think the Cube still bests it, even though you're paying more right now. But I do think it is a cool option to have if the price is right. Fair? Is that fair to say for now?
Sure.
I think price is a very important factor to these handhelds. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But with the Cube, with the Go Game Geek deal, you can get it for around $145 right now, something like that, $150. Makes it tough. So they're going to need to be super competitive with that pricing. So, but if you guys are ready to talk about the next handheld of the week, we have another one from Anbernic. It's not the Open Pandora version, but something maybe almost kind of as cool. We'll see. This is called the Anbernic RG40XX. We talked about it a little last week. We weren't sure if it was real, but it is officially announced, and it is leaked here and is rocking the same H700 chipset as before, 4x3 screen this time, and it also has RGB lighting from the Cube. It almost has a Cube-like design, like the higher end hardware with the older chipset, the all winner. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Carrie, what do you think about this one?
I like that it's not in line compared to some of the older Anbernic devices that are in the same type of candy bar design insofar its form factor and size and shape. So it's in a worthwhile update from previous generation of Anbernic devices, and we should anticipate this to be around $60 given that it has that H700 in it. So that's my anticipation of where it's going to be. Maybe those analog sticks are going to bump up the price a little bit and protect potentially the screen as well. Maybe $60 to $70. And I think that's a fair enough price given that what it's trying to accomplish. I'm not sure. It's kind of a mix of some type of PSP, but we'll see where, how people react to it. I'm not too sure it's going to have the same type of appeal as the RG35 XDX SP. The only reason I call it XDX, by the way, is that's how I always read the years in Mega Man. It was the year 20 XDX. So that's why I always say XDX.
Well, at the rate we're going, we're just going to have numbers and years next to the name of these handhelds, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
But again, does this move the needle for anyone in particular? Who knows? I'd have to see it and use it in practice. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be someone's particular use case where they actually enjoy this. You're going to find someone that, for whatever reason, this just rings the bell for them.
Yeah. And at the same time, there's also that level of just burnout from devices one after the other.
Especially
so how excited can you get? Yeah, with the chipset.
Right, yeah. I feel like the RG35 XDX SP, at least being in clamshell and inspired by the SP, was something to rally behind. And I think especially when you take a look at too many games, literally everyone that brought an Anbernic device brought that device. So insofar as anecdotally what I could see from just generally people coming to a gaming convention, that's what they were bringing. They weren't really bringing any device outside of the 1 7-foot tall biker that was bringing in a RG28 XDX. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to see. And I don't know, this may be the device that, starts the fire of burnout, which took a long time to get here. I would have thought that the old rock chip devices would have certainly have done that, but it didn't seem to exhaust anyone's enthusiasm.
People keep wanting to buy,
Yeah, it's just like slap the lid of the top of the car. This baby can fit so many rock chip devices.
We were saying this last week, just that the fact that you have this like dopamine response, like Pavlov's dog or something you create with yourself with these companies, where you just get in the cycle of buying just because it's like what you do. You just I got to get the next one. They have it.
Well, it's like what Phawx was saying earlier about the price point too. If it's like $50, it's like, why not? And I said the same thing last week too. I'm like, you see something for $50, you're like, why not? I'll give it a shot and buy it. And it's just, that's also part of it too. People just keep buying these things because they're pretty inexpensive, and then you also get that dopamine rush from it too. So
this is one of the weirdest devices so far, because everything about it tells me that this was supposed to be like the 405M successor, like the new one in the T820 line, because of the shell they're using. They have stack buttons, they have the RGB, they have the buttons on the bottom like they do on this one. They even have a home button, like everything there. I feel like they just didn't want to compete against the Cube for that T820. They're like, just put the H700 in there, because other than that, it doesn't really make sense compared to the rest of the H700 devices we've seen from them. It looks a little too high end for that chip.
I think
there's or the joke's on us, in about 2 months or so we'll finally get the T820 in there.
We probably will.
We want that higher end in there, because the AYN Odin Mini 2 showed us that you can fit something really powerful in something really small.
Because we still have that 406M that's been rumored. So who knows what's
Stay tuned for Aish. Aish Talks Tech. He has a video coming out, review of the
very soon. Very excited.
Odin 2 Mini.
Yes. But this one,
you got the white?
Sure. I got the white one. Let me take the caps off of it. I got the all white one.
You don't have Stubbs nubs on there.
I haven't put any nubs on there. I just found this one.
You put any nubs on there?
No, I got to put some on there.
It looks beautiful though.
It does. So I do have to be honest though. So when I first opened it up and I saw that it was the white one, I wasn't that excited. I was like, okay, because I kind of had the idea of the black one because of the new screen, so it just kind of all melts together. But I'd say within like an hour of using it, I was like, okay, I love this one. The white looks really good. It looks really clean. It doesn't scuff up easy, which I was worried about, and it doesn't seem to like really get that dirty, which was my two things with white devices. But I haven't had it long enough yet. But it's amazing what this little thing can do.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like the only competition the Odin 2 Mini has is the Odin 2.
Yeah. Here's the thing for me though. So I was actually, not to get off topic, but just really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like the Odin Mini completely replaces my Odin now, because the Odin 2 was always in a weird spot for me. It was a little too big to be something I really want to carry around with me, but it wasn't versatile enough like the Steam Deck to really be my all-in-one device, or like the ROG Ally to kind of take that spot. So it was like, if I didn't have anything else and I just had the Odin 2, I would have been really happy. But I had other things. Now with the Mini has all the same power, but I could just throw it in my pocket and take it with me. So it kind of replaces it completely at this point.
Yeah,
For
my Mini, I still got to replace the face button on it. I'm waiting on the replacement on that, and then I can start using it again and actually make a video about it, a full review video, not just sort of a live stream stuff. But I've been liking that one too in general. I just want to use it, so I need that rubber membrane and those buttons replaced.
But yeah, back to the 48XX
too, right?
What? No, go ahead.
Yeah, they're shipping them now too, I believe.
Yeah, they started shipping them this week. Yeah.
Which colors do you guys go with?
For the 40XX?
Yeah.
Have you been offered a color choice? I don't think
we just get what they send. Like we don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They ask me what color I want. I always say, give me some lighter colors.
Nice. Yeah, we gotta chat with our contact and be like, let's get that blue going. Because I want.
Yeah. It's funny because they asked me what color, and then of course we had the whole backlight issue. So then they sent me a replacement. That was just random. Like, no, you can't request colors. We can't do that. We're in a hurry. We're just sending this out.
Dude, I just got two black ones. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get different colors. Nope, just two black ones.
I got the worst one.
They've asked maybe a few times, but it's usually for smaller devices like the 28XX or something.
With this one, I don't care. Any color they send, I'm going to be happy with. As you already know, Stubbs, like I really like the DMG colors, and they did what I've been wanting them to do on all of them.
I like the blue.
I was going to say on this DMG one. Sorry, I'm covering my face. If you notice the bezel, they went with a dark gray bezel. That to me looks the best. I don't like it when they just do the same gray on the bezel, because it looks less like the DMG color scheme to me. So any of the ones they sent, I'm going to be happy with. And is it just me, or do they look like Hall sticks?
Yeah. They could be. I mean, I don't know. I can't see it in that render. Rob, can we blow that up? Can we enhance?
They look at the Hall sticks Anbernic's been using, which is even weirder to me. That's why I keep thinking like this was probably one that was supposed to be a different handheld, and they just put the H700 in there. Because we saw a leak. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's when you take a look at these, boutique cottage industry that the Chinese cottage industry that has spawned out of to create these handhelds. It's interesting because it's, when you think of it as like, if Silicon Valley iterates fast on software, Shenzhen iterates fast on hardware, and they've been doing better and better every year, to the point that it's kind of ridiculous seeing some of the things that they can do, where they just can 3D print one-off models that look like production ready. And there's some things that GPD has sent me that is a one-off model, but it is as good as production stuff. So it's really weird to see how far ahead they are. And you can just see all of the stuff that they have available to them in Shenzhen, where they just have supply, and you can literally just feel them going into whatever bodega. It's like, what kind of screens do you have? Do you have a 1x1 640 by 480? And it's just like, we have 10,000 of them. Sweet.
What I said last week was they have like an IKEA parts bin when we walk in the store, and that's what they're doing. They're just picking what they want. And that's exactly how this happens.
So they're literally just putting it together and just manufacturing the PCBs. And now it used to be even just 3 years ago that making a mold for the case was very expensive. It was around $30,000 to make a case for these older devices. And now with the frequency that they're coming out, I can't see Anbernic spending $40,000-$50,000 a clip out of just making these newer devices with the weirdo form factors. So something has changed, and I'm not sure of that entire part of it, but seeing the frequency that they're going, it seems like there has been a manufacturing breakthrough in Shenzhen insofar as case production. Even in low quantity numbers, when you can say, you know, like, what's your BOM? You're like, maybe like 10,000 units. They're like, yeah, sure, no problem. 12 cents. I'm like, sick. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, and speaking of earlier, we stopped talking about the Odin 2 Mini, but that is now shipping to people as well. So people are getting their retail units, which is great to hear. So we'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on the Odin 2 Mini once you get it. And is it one that's going to replace the Odin 2 for you? We'll have to see. But sorry to move us along, guys, but we have so many topics to cover still, and we could go on and on about this stuff for a long time. This is a good talk. I don't want to move us along, but I'm going to. How
dare you?
I know, man. I know. Okay, so Steam controller. I don't know if any of you guys had the Steam controller back in the day, the original one, but now there's a successor to this, supposedly. A spiritual successor, maybe.
This looks cool.
I'm so mad at this.
It's a HoriPad, and they have a wireless controller here, and it doesn't look like the Steam controller I know and love, but I guess it's Steam branded.
I'm mad because I got really, really excited until I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's not the actual Steam controller. That's why I'm upset at it. That and it's Hori. Like,
you gotta hold on to it.
Their controllers are okay. I don't know how everybody feels about it, but they're kind of, at least the ones I've used, they haven't been the best quality, and they usually put like weights in it to make it feel a little bit better. I hope that's not the case. I haven't used their stuff in forever, so I don't want to talk bad about them when that's just my old experience. But it was that, you know, I got really excited, and it's a controller.
For like third-party peripherals, I tend to trust them more than some of the other brands out there, I'd say.
Yeah, like PowerA.
PowerA is terrible. I've never had a good experience with them.
So the one thing that's going to be a bit interesting for me with regard to this, I have really no anticipation for getting this controller, just because it seems like a controller, and I already have a ton. So I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at it, but outside of it just being for Steam or a Steam controller, like if it operates as a Steam controller does, i.e., there's a lizard mode to it when Steam isn't launched.
Yeah,
that would be very, very interesting. Much like how the Steam controller worked, so that it would default into a very keyboard mouse emulation type of device. And then when Steam is detected, it goes into its controller mode. If that's the case, that is a further integration that Valve needs to like work with Hori on. And that's that's interesting. A little inside baseball. There was like I was trying to be a liaison between Ioneo and Valve to try to get the Ioneo device to work like with the Kun, with the trackpads for the Kun, was to see if they would use Valve's trackpads and make it a Steam controller. But basically, yeah, that's nice. Are we showing off Steam controllers? Let me just finish the story. Okay. Yeah. Basically, nothing ever happened, but for that to actually happen, they would have to. Any company would have to forfeit the entire controller design, because that would have to be from Valve. So Valve would have to basically supersede whatever was going on controller wise. Let me show you my Steam controller stuff.
Yes, bring it forth.
Valve really, really needs to give us a new Steam controller. Just like a Steam Deck without the screen is all we need.
It's funny because Valve has done some cool stuff with hardware, like the Steam Deck. You know, like I actually had the Alienware Steam Machine, which was really awesome for the time.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
You got a minute. We got one in box.
Phawx stock.
Phawx, you stocked up, my friend. Oh my. I have the box for one of mine.
Did you guys ever see the old YouTube video where the guy had 3 PS3s?
That was the entire
together. No, that was the entire video. He's just
he just owned
them. He was just.
Hey man, they were expensive. Here, your $1,000 console.
Yeah, he's like, your argument is invalid. I have 3 PS3s, and I have 4 Steam controllers.
You have 4. Steam controllers.
To be fair, there was a time where they
Stacking
were
them.
just being clearanced out. So
I
Yeah,
wish
that-
I would have
you were
bought some.
smart. You stocked
I
up.
wish.
because they were
Yeah,
cheap.
that's when they were fire sale. They just bought a bunch, and the Steam Link as well.
I should have done that. I slept
Rob,
on that one.
Did you hear that AYN is going to Brazil? That's right. The Xenix is a thing. They're rebranding Lokis and
Oh, I
selling them
know.
as Xenix for less money down there, but
How
you
are they
can
doing that?
only buy it in Brazil, I believe.
I don't understand how they're getting the price as cheap as they are to begin with.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see how, especially for the AYN Odin, it's so inexpensive that you have to wonder what type of margins that they have on them. And I mean, internally, whatever they're selling, but generally speaking, like even like the GP2 Win 2 existed, right? When that was the only PC gaming handheld to exist, it was $650, but they were still maybe 30,000, 40,000 units, nothing ginormous, maybe 50,000 units. So how many are they really selling of the Odin 2? If they sold 100,000, that would be outrageous. That's like a super large number. Do you think that they're selling more than 100,000? And when you think of like,
No.
what margins are they having on this device? It's a very high-end chipset on there. There's a lot of nice stuff that's on there. You figure the manufacturing and all the other stuff, the boxes, the shipping. When you look at all the numbers, it's like I'm always scratching my head at what AYN is doing, because it seems like they're really threading the needle with regard to how inexpensive they're making the device. And Brazil is a tough market, and I feel for people in Brazil and in Russia who, they, especially like Brazil, gets knocked over the head because their tariff, their endpoint tax. That tax really knocks them over the head. And I've talked with a number of people from Brazil about that. So it's nice that they're somehow getting it cheaper over there, but it's like crazy to me how inexpensive it already is.
So this is actually a Loki. This is a rebranding of the Loki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but which I mean, again, but the thing is, it's interesting. This is the 6800U, and then the Athlon 3050E Lokis that they're rebranding here. So even then, I'm like, you still start to wonder like how they're turning profit.
That was weird.
If they could rebrand an Odin and do some crazy stuff.
I agree about the Odin, though. I mean, when they first announced that it was using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, I was like, how are they doing that for that price? It made no sense to me, because it was cheaper than even the cheapest cell phone that you could buy.
Yeah,
it was like half that price. How did you pull that off?
I was looking at used phones with that chipset, and I'm like, I can't even buy a used phone for this price. So I don't even like. It was just I had no idea where they were getting it from or how they were working.
Hi, Aish.
Sorry. There's having some technical difficulties with my camera here. It switched over to OBS for no reason, and I'm just trying to adjust it.
You look perfect.
Right.
Thank
you look good.
I'm here.
You can make OBS fix my Celeste performance. That would make me feel better about myself.
So the company's called Tectoy that's working with AIN that's rebranding it?
Yeah.
Not Tectoy Tinker, though. Tectoy.
Right. Yeah. I can clearly see it's missing the H there.
Well, Tectoys, they've been around in Brazil for a long time, I believe. I think they do like the Sega stuff, rebrand the Sega stuff, I believe.
Yeah. Well, what I don't understand is how they got this into Brazil and still kept the price down. Because the tariffs for Brazil are insane. That's why you can't really get anything in there without it being like 3 times the price.
I don't know if this is true. I forget even where I read it, but they might be assembling these in Brazil to get around.
Yeah, but you would still have to pay for the parts to come in, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing this logistically. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
There's some whiz-biz stuff that's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dead Fred's actually saying that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more thoughts to come on that one. I don't know that I'll be ordering a Xenix anytime soon, but I have a Loki.
I almost want it just for my collection because it's just
to have it.
Interesting piece, you know. I also like the Loki. I think the Loki was a very comfortable handheld. I mean, I would love to see AYN revisit it, but I highly doubt that they're going to. I think they're done with Windows handhelds or x86.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
A Loki with a 7-inch screen would have been just perfect.
I don't think AYN is untouchable in the Android space. When you take a look at the Odin 2, there's that price is like untouchable for like so many different places. Even the iNeo Pocket S is, something that's over that, and they're trying to go for the premium side of things. But when you take a look at A1 being an x86, it's a tough pill to swallow because they have to compete with the Steam Deck, ASUS, and Lenovo, and every other big manufacturer. And when you're in those, and the prices for those devices aren't that expensive either, there's not a bunch of wiggle room that AYN has. So I can see them just getting out of x86 in general.
Yep.
Good things coming for if you live in Brazil.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for people in Brazil.
Yep, they'll have an option. They'll have a Steam Deck, like Steam Deck-ish option there, which is good.
That was actually one of the reasons why Win600 was sort of popular in Brazil, because I mean, even after the taxes, it was still cheaper than any Windows handheld they could get there. And I remember having a big audience from Brazil, you know, obviously commenting on a lot of my videos early on. So it's just an interesting thing to see the different markets there.
Interesting.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Let's move on.
ROG Tessen.
The Tessen. So let's talk about the Tessen real quick.
I have some things to talk about the Tessen.
You do? You have one? You have a Tessen there?
No, I don't have a Tessen. No, I was telling ASUS that they should just throw that away and make something better.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh no. Well, for me, it's almost like a no-go. I'm like, tablet. I needed to be able to do.
Yeah, that's
like,
what
come on, we need tablets on this thing. You know, it's just. Also, Stubbs brought up a good point about it, how it folds.
What?
It should have folded the other way to make it more compact. It's just
no,
because it's folding backwards where the sticks stick out, so it's not really being more compact. So it's kind of an interest. It's just the whole thing. It just is like, what's happening here?
Well, the thing about the Tessen is that I wish they would put these sticks on the inside. So yeah, when you fold it, it actually makes it pocketable. And you and I were talking about this at lunch with ASUS. ASUS didn't know that they were making this.
Yeah, the x86 guys had no idea that this was a thing. And we started talking to the phone division guys. I asked if I could speak to them, and I was just talking to the guy, and I was like, I folded the Tessen in half, and I'm like, where does this go? And he's like, it goes in a backpack. And I'm like, so not in my pocket. I have to carry this around somewhere with me that I'm going to, you know, have it somewhere with me. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, so that's not going to happen. I'm not going to carry that accessory around with me anywhere. This is as good as any other controller that slaps onto a phone.
Well, and you just want your Unicorn device,
the sliding game phone,
sliding game phone. And you were like, why don't you make that?
You know, there's that dude, I don't know his name, but
talking about that for years.
He made the iPhone MagSafe version.
Yeah, we actually had that. What was it, like 2 weeks ago on the chat on the podcast. It's very cool though.
So I sent that to ASUS, and I was like, look, some guy, you know, some kid is showing you guys up, is those
especially because they manufacture the ROG phone, so it's like,
yeah, that's what I was saying, and
two and two together.
I was trying to tell them, I was like, you know, when you have an ASUS ROG, you know, the ROG phone that you have, you already have a vehicle to sell an accessory. The Tessen isn't it. I said they should just make a slider gaming phone on the ROG phone as it is, just because you can really streamline the device when you design it, engineer it to be together. And if you have a sliding device like the Xperia Play was 13 years ago, that is like the killer device. I don't know why. This is something that someone who has been like listening to me for a while has heard me say this exact phrase a million times by now. But how could it be possible that like LG's swan song for the last phone that they make is the LG Wing, which is a phone that just makes a T. You're just like, let's make the device into a T. Oh, it didn't sell well. Well, there's nothing else we could do. I don't know what we could possibly do. Let's just leave the phone market entirely. And but when you mention a sliding gaming phone, they're like, no, that's outrageously stupid.
Can't do that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go make our T phone and see how well that does. Like it's
funny because mobile gaming is more popular today than it's ever been, especially with games that are relying on those controllers. So it seems like a no-brainer, but they obviously don't see it.
Yeah, so I think like the one thing that I was always talking to them about, and one thing that they are skeptical about is, well, what are we making the controller for on the phone? And is it for emulators? We're not going to do that. And I was like, well, you know, 5G, streaming, cloud streaming is picking up. You have, GeForce streaming experience, xCloud is included. So that's a good reason to have 5G in and of itself, and a reason why you should have a phone on a controller on the phone attached to the phone, like a real gaming phone. I pitched it to them. It was funny because ETA Prime was there at Computex in the ASUS headquarters. And while I was talking to him, ETA Prime knew that's what I was doing. And he came by. He's like, you know what? If you guys had a sliding gaming phone, that would be really awesome. I was like, see?
It's not just me.
Yeah. So ETA Prime had my back there. It was that's a thing that I continue to wish for. As it stands, the Tessen, I don't really understand. If the claim to fame is that it bends in half, okay, great. I don't know what that does for anybody, truthfully, that it can fold in half, because you can't put it in your pocket at all. So
I like the M1 and M2 buttons.
Yeah,
hear my thoughts on it.
Just look where the X button is. If you look where the X button is,
well, so it's right there. Okay, it's right there. Okay.
How's it feel? Does it feel like it's in the right location? Does your thumb sit on that X button perfectly?
Not perfectly.
To be fair, Stubbs' thumb is not.
My thumb is not a normal thumb.
It's on all the buttons.
To which we should be judging anything.
It's a beast. But okay, here's the thing. Clicky, everything's clicky, kind of like the Razer Kishi, all that good stuff. Why is there like an A-frame design in the shoulder? I don't know.
That's gamer.
It's more gamer that way.
It's gamer aesthetics. Yeah. How's that? How are the buttons?
How's the range on that?
Decent range on there. Good play, good travel, I'd say. You have fun lights, Carrie's favorite, fun lights. And you have, decent clicky buttons, but I don't like the D-pad. That one doesn't feel as good. But the joysticks, though, feel similar to the ROG Ally style joysticks. They feel nice, tight, controlled. But there's limited use case with this. So it doesn't work with iPhone. So you're going to be using it with Android. And I couldn't get it to work with something like the Surface Duo. It just didn't quite fit right. So that didn't work. But it does work with regular flip phones or folding phones like the Samsung. Oh my gosh. It is too hot in the room tonight, guys.
Galaxy Fold.
Galaxy Fold, thank you. Galaxy Fold 5, that's what I was using on it. That works well. But for that use case, okay.
Here's the question. Are you going to bring this Tessen around with you? Are you going to carry it with you all the time?
I brought it on vacation.
Did you use it?
Yeah, I used it at the
Are you lying to me?
At the cabin. No, no, I mean I used it 2 or 3 times, but it's because it's what I brought. I brought it to mess around with, and
right.
It's because I'm reviewing it. It's because it's in the review cycle, so it's like I need to get my thoughts together. That's the other part of it. But
when the INEO was first coming out, right, and I was saying, here's the problem with a Windows device that doesn't have a keyboard and mouse. You're going to have problems, and there's things that they're going to need to fix and work around to get this to be in a usable state. And everyone I said that to, they're like, yeah, well, I'll just carry around a Bluetooth keyboard with me. And I was like, really? That's what you're going to do? You're going to always have a Bluetooth keyboard with you? And I guarantee you they don't. And even if they did, they just not use it.
Oh no! I know you were saying that, but like, I still am a fan of the telescopic controller. I still like using them, usually around the house more than on the go. You're right. I'll give you that.
I like telescopic controllers insofar as the idea that, like, let's say that the AYN Odin 2 did not exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could, in theory, buy a used phone that whatever, and it's just good enough to be a high performant phone, and just slap a telescopic controller on it and just have it on there. And now you made yourself your own Android handheld. I could see that use case, but going around and actually use, I put it this another way. Have you ever seen anyone with a telescopic controller walking around in public in like mass transit or anything?
I used to carry around. Back in my day, Carrie, I used to carry around my iPeg, a 9067, with my Android Fire Kindle.
The iPeg was almost enough,
and I had public transportation to work, and I played Tony Hawk on an emulator. And have you and hold on a second.
I think these are awful.
I've never seen anyone walk around with or use any device in public transportation. Is that a Zippo lighter? What are we looking at?
Okay, this is a tiny phone.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
It's back.
He's
It's
back
back
with this
again.
thing.
What are we doing here?
Oh no.
Listen, there's a use case no one's talking about. This controller actually is the first one that I've gotten to fit this tiny phone. So it plays up to N64. It has the same chip from the RP2.
You're going in the opposite direction of anyone.
I mean, that's how Stubbs rolls.
Listen,
Yeah, that's Stubbs for you.
The only thing you did is you invented a new Anbernic device. That's all you have done.
I just, you know what? I have my priorities and I have my passions. I know you want your dream folding phone, the dream gold, all that. I want my accessories. Let's accessorize. Like, we can make tiny, handhelds with this. We can make big.
Hey, you have the LG Wing.
Of course.
Yeah.
There you go. That's LG Swan Song right there.
There you go.
Beautiful. That was.
I still don't understand why they did that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, they were like, guys, we're not selling any phone. Let's make a gaming phone. Like, no, that's stupid. Let's make a phone that turns into a T.
Yeah.
We have too many screens.
Yeah, that's
which is hilarious because they took the bottom screen and they put it into handhelds because of how great the aspect ratio is for certain games. So it's lived on in gaming purposes, which is kind of funny.
That is the most bizarre thing ever. And LG was like, well, we don't know what to do. I guess we'll stop making phones.
And
that was
obviously they didn't know what to do.
You've never seen anyone rocking one of these in public,
No.
The D9.
Sure.
Yeah, you can make.
I like telescopic controllers for tablets, which I think that's where they belong. So I don't understand why they keep just making them for phones. Like Stubbs just sent this, so this pretty comfortable. It's okay. The Nomad, it fits
Nomad,
an iPhone just fine. Like if you're doing this with it, it's okay. But I wanted to use this on my iPad and it doesn't work. It doesn't stretch enough. So why not just make it stretch longer so you can use it on a tablet where it actually makes sense to have a big telescopic controller with a giant screen?
Yeah, that's the other one that I see as like value is people that just want like a 12-inch screen on a portable device. I could totally totally get behind that. And that's for people that just want a bigger screen, right? And then no problem. Yeah, I can get behind that. And that's a great use case for telescopic controllers. But the what they're selling when they sell telescopic controllers is the idea of you're going to have your phone, and when you want cake, you're just going to take cake out of your backpack and slather cake on your phone, and now it's a gaming phone. And when you don't want that anymore, you just take it off. I'm going to be honest with you. Going around New York City in the subways, on the buses, I've seen one person use a Super Nintendo 8-bit controller, and that's it.
Was it me?
No, but I mean, he wasn't even using a mount. He just like had his phone on his lap while he was playing.
Well, it's true. I mean, and we talked about this before in the show. Like, to get serious for a second, yes, it's true. When do we carry these on the go and use them as, or do we just carry a handheld with us because it's all on one device? We grab the handheld, but sometimes the best gaming device is the one you have on you. And so in those scenarios, if you happen to keep a telescopic controller that folds in half on your person,
just put it in the trash, man. It's garbage.
What's your rating out of 10? I'll have you review things from now on.
I mean, I don't know how it feels, but I mean, the design purpose, the design goals of what it's trying to do outside, if you're going to be slapping it onto a tablet. If you're looking to put this onto a phone, the first question that you're asking for is the wrong answer. So you're going into this all wrong. Like, how do you? I mean, you'd be like designing a treadmill and you couldn't even walk on it. Cargo shorts, cargo shorts is always the answer. Just
here's the thing when people say that, like, oh well, if you already have your phone on, you just carry the controller. Like, there's
shorts.
not much of a
we
size
can agree on that.
Here.
It's a thing
the
that
same
always
size.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to carry both of those around, or if it's in your backpack, then you have this big ensemble of accessories that you're carrying around with you. And I've got to be honest with you, being in New York City, I've never seen anyone do it. So whoever's buying these or leaving these devices at home,
I usually use them at home. It's true. But
Yeah.
why do we like to collect them? Why do you think what's the draw? We get tablets. We want to see what we can do for emulation.
I think that people have this conceptual idea when they see one that they have this fantasy in their head of what they're actually going to be using them in. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this out with me, and when I need to, I'm just gonna MacGyver this on, and everyone's gonna be super impressed with me." And no one does that. It's like you have these fantasies in your head of what you're actually going to do with them, and the reality is that it stays on a shelf or inside of a drawer that isn't being used. And that's just
hey, don't talk mean about my drawer.
You just like
so sad down there.
You just, like all the weebs just caught strays from that last.
I love my telescope. I love them
like-
so much. I keep them on my person.
You're saying I'm not going to impress her?
Gary, from now on, I'm going to strap these.
What we need from
I'm going
Stubbs
to
is
tape
what's
these
in
to my
bag
body.
kind of video.
I'm going to walk around town and I'm going to strap these to my waist.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm going to pull them. I'm going to pull them out, and I'm going to be emulating N64 in front of kids at McDonald's. Like people aren't going to know what to do with me.
look here's the main takeaway here.
I have an idea.
I'm a big fan of cameras on phones, right?
Okay, yeah.
Good cameras on phones, I think everyone gets behind. There's not a person that would say, you know what, don't put a good camera on there. I'd rather carry around a DSLR with me. You're not going to find everyone agreeing with that. But if you say, I want my phone to be a gaming phone, they're like, well, just take a handheld with you. Like, I don't know why there is that thing. The idea of having one device that is going to be the gaming device is the one that you always have. The best gaming device is the one that you always have on you, much like the best camera is the one that you always have on you. And putting better and better cameras on these devices has been fantastic for everybody, because now everyone has a really good camera that they can use to take pictures or take video. Likewise, I think that there is an untapped market for actual gaming phones, especially with cloud streaming as it is. And everyone is making these telescopic controllers because other people have made telescopic controllers and have sold X amount of them to whatever degree. And it's just a conceptual problem that I don't think that a lot of people can appreciate. I've heard tons of excuses. I don't want my phone to be a gaming device because then I get notifications, and you can put do not disturb, and there's all these reasons of why they wouldn't want it. If you think of
fun lights,
a sliding gaming controller, it solves a lot of problems, and you don't need to have the game controller part out at all times.
Here's what I would
go ahead.
To play devil's advocate. If we did have a sliding gaming controller, the next thing would be we would start complaining about the controllers themselves, like, oh, the sticks are too short, or the buttons, or this and that. So I feel like we're not going to make people happy, but I do agree that if there was a good compromise, like if there was a way to get decent sticks on there that's not like a slider, I would be completely on board with that one.
Yeah, and I think it's really just that, like, look at the ASUS ROG Ally X, right? When we went to the headquarters and they were talking to us, they were just talking about the fans, right? And we were taking a look at the fan performance. They were looking at the PQ curve and everything else. And they were like, so we designed these fans. They weigh less, they perform better, and they're smaller. And I was like, that's 3 wins. Why didn't you just make that fans like that the first time? And it's like, oh, money. We just didn't have the engineering money behind it. So they can 100% make something super awesome and dope. They just need to throw money to engineer something at it.
Yep.
And right now, the only thing that we have is we're taking pre-existing stuff and smashing it into a device versus someone taking a look at the problem and trying to solve it. So
that's fair.
Yeah, that's all anything really comes down to is that you can solve the problem. You can throw some engineers at it.
Do you like my logic in that I just
the other way.
keep showing it anyways, and that look, it folds. So there you go. It's pocketable, but not really, because you have these joysticks on the outside. We need to get that on the inside. So on a revision, that'd be nice.
We could have folded it inwards.
I think it fits about a 7 to 8 inch device though. And you know what? It's $109 though, and that's what's tough, is that you can get the G8 if you like telescopic controllers. I like telescopic controllers.
The G8 is...
Where is he at? This guy says over there.
If you're getting it for a tablet, 100%.
Yeah, $80.
Then we can just
$80.
Let's just talk about the controls. How's the D-pad? How's the face buttons? How's the
$40.
Yeah,
I don't like that one. It's too small.
I don't like that one either.
I like the Easy SMX M05. Yeah, that's right.
I don't mean to single that one out individually. I mean, all of the ones that are like that, I don't like them. They're too small.
It's
I like
okay.
it. I like it for the Surface Duo.
You don't have to worry about insulting the device. It just stays in Stubbs' drawer all the time anyway.
That's true. The D-pad is too low. Like, there's just a lot I could complain about. I'm not gonna get into it.
Well,
goes into the drawer of shame. Just slap it back in there, Stubbs. Just come on. Just open up the drawer, slap it in there, close it up.
Yep.
Call it a day.
No. I like my telescopic controllers. Thank you very much. But I would be happy to see your idea of a gaming all-in-one device. And I'll be happy if we get that device.
Man, look at that. That's huge.
I will say no more. I'll write them off. But until we get something like that, I mean,
that one dude that's making the third-party controller with the MagSafe that can slide out. Yeah, it looks like it's chunky, but hey, that's definitely pocketable. You can definitely pocket it.
You could put that in your pocket technically, just like you can with the Tessen. I like the back. I like the M1 and M2 back, so that's satisfying, and it's mapped to the face buttons, and it has Armory Crate for Android. You can change the backlighting, all that good stuff. But $109. If you are interested in this for any reason, it is in our description. Or help Kerry build his. He was Kerry, you were at ASUS talking to their guys. Like you had a whole team of them engineers together. Like, we need to make this all-in-one gaming phone device. And you had graphs. You pulled out Excel spreadsheets, and
I've asked for it for time and time again. I've asked GPD to make a gaming phone. I've asked Ioneo to make a gaming phone. I've asked everyone to do it, and GPD and Ioneo won't do it because when they get the chips that they're getting, like for Ioneo, the Snapdragon that they're getting with Qualcomm, they are not certified for the radio part of it. If they wanted to get the radio part certified, the price goes up. Mm-hmm. So now it's going to be like a $600, $700 device that they have to sell. Yep. I would hype the hell out of it, even if it was $700, $800, because it's still a very high performance device. And if you were to compare it to other, Snapdragon Gen 3 phones, those are also $700, $800 devices. So, where are you really? And that's been my thing that I've been trying to say, but it's a tall order for them because they don't want it to fail and they don't want to put have that money in it. So it's a minimum order quantity that they have to meet, and there's certifications that they have to do. There's a bunch that they have to do, and price goes up a bunch.
And that's what Pimax was talking about with the Portal when they were trying to go 5G with it, and they told us like it's just gonna bring up the price, so they kind of scratched that one and just went with no mobile connectivity. But I think you're right. Like, if you look at the phones, they're easily like almost $1,000. I'm surprised that Ioneo, with their usual pricing scheme, wouldn't just be like, this makes sense, let's just do it. Especially for the Chinese market. I mean, the Chinese market is massive for mobile games.
Yeah. So I don't know. One day, the only good news is that every day that I wait and every year that I wait, the types of components that they can use only get better. So eventually, maybe
we'll get there.
Just buy a Steam Deck.
I believe in the dream. I will happily buy one, try it out, and if it's good, if your idea in the end was amazing, then I'll throw away all my telescopic controllers. How about that? But if not, then I'll still keep that device because it probably is pretty cool anyways. But we'll have words. Well, I got to move us along, guys. We could easily do 4 hours here, but I want to let Kerry you get some beauty sleep. You have to wake up early tomorrow.
A little bit.
A little bit. So other news this week, I don't know if you heard this, but they fixed the RG Cube cardinal snapping and the RG556 in software. The Gamma Squeeze has a fix for that. It does involve unlocking the bootloader and some extra work, so it really is at your own risk. But if you want to fix that, that is now a thing. Really cool. Gamma OS also is running on the Cube now, and it's based on Android 12 right now, so it's not supported. The Cube normally runs on Android 13, and so there's a little more work to do there. And another custom firmware, ArcOS version 2.0 is out. You can check our weekly article here if you want a description of all the various things they've done. And MMJR2 has a 1-to-1 aspect ratio setting now. So you can go in there and check out this post on Reddit. The dude explains how to do that. It only takes a moment, and some games actually look good rendered in 1:1, but mini games, if there's sprites and things like that, they'll be squashed and the game will look real funny. So we're going to need some sort of compatibility list to see which games are good.
Some of them also cut off, like cutscenes.
Cool,
like Mario Thousand Year Door does that. Like it'll render perfectly fine, but a cutscene you'll get 2 thin black bars, which doesn't bother me, but they're there.
I mean, it's a cool option, and it makes another use case for the RG Cube screen, right? So it's there you go. Now you got GameCube to add to the mix. Next, we need PS2, Vita, and PSP. I mean, come on, there's got to be.
We'll need a new PS2 emulator for that one.
Yeah, we'll need some sort of hacky situation. But they basically here they use the widescreen, the way that the emulator can do widescreen patches. It uses that to somehow shrink it to 1:1, and it's interesting. So read up on it if you're interested. Also, there's a custom screen layout for Lime 3DS, which is the latest, greatest 3DS emulator, and that helps you get a much better situation with the layout of the top and the bottom screen there. By default, Lime limits you to pretty small screens, and so you have this big bezel. And so check that out. There, a user in our Discord has a custom INI file, so you can toss that on your device and make it better for you. Also, if you're interested in our RG Cube written review, that's up on the website now. We're not going to talk about any more cheap controllers today. And TV sitcom games, I think we can skip. But are they good? Probably not. Frasier Fantasy.
Oh, God.
If you're interested in that, the article's on our website, too. Summer sale is hot in effect right now until the 11th of July. And I picked up a few games today, including Wreckfest. Any games you guys picked up that you liked? Recommends?
I picked up a bunch of Dave the Dive. Yeah, so Ubisoft games I've been picking up because they're outrageously deep discount. So I was buying the bundled version of those because they give a little bit of an extra discount on them. And I already owned quite a few of them before Ubisoft tried not being on Steam, and that failed miserably. So they've come with their tail back between their legs. So I picked up a bunch of Ubisoft games that were if the Ubisoft games right now feel like old Steam sales, like 2010 Steam sales. There's actually a number of games that are like 85%, 95%, 90% off, and it's really nice. So this feels like a really good Steam sale. Like there was normally Steam sales like, okay, whatever. It's gonna, if there's a game that I was thinking about, I'll just pick it up because it'll be a little bit cheaper. But this one,
the Steam Deck itself is down at $296.
Yeah, that's like
crazy.
That's crazy.
Outrageous. Yeah, when you take a look at those prices, Steam is the number one problem for any x86 PC gaming handheld manufacturer at the moment. As much as it's a really weird situation to look at because Valve would very much like other manufacturers to make more PC gaming handhelds because it benefits them. But in the same hand, they are the worst thing for anyone else because now they are creating this barrier on pricing where anyone that does anything, and especially because of where AMD is, I'm actually doing a video right now where I'm micro-benching the 780M at every 100 megahertz on the GPU just so that you can clearly see where the memory wall is. Like you can, I put TDP at 70 watts, so there's no power limit. There's no power problem. And I was just like, keep on putting different frequencies. And we're like, well, here, look, going from 1 gigahertz to 1.6 gigahertz, we gained about 10% frames. And CPU is going as fast as we can. So you can clearly see where the GPU wall is just because of memory bandwidth. And I go from 1.6 gigahertz, 2 gigahertz, 2.7 gigahertz. I even overclock it to 3 gigahertz. And you don't get any benefit. You just waste a ton of power. You go up to 30 watts on the GPU alone for no material benefit. And
there you go.
Yeah, so the Steam Deck is really like it's a well-designed device and does well within its scope. And when you look at the newer devices, it's not going to be appreciably better than the Steam Deck in terms of value. So AMD needs to make better stuff. They need to do better. And Strix is going to look even better. Yeah, I mean, so the Ally X is really nice because they did all the adjacent stuff. I'm glad that they are creating the 80 watt hour battery as a baseline. All the min-maxing that they've done on the engineering side is something that I've always been asking for. And getting 80 watt-hour battery, but still hitting like 670 grams is an engineering feat, and they deserve a lot of credit. And it's always been kind of hard, especially in this current cycle, because ASUS has been getting beat up a lot, and it's hard to even talk positive about them with where, when everyone is just hammering them on the warranty and stuff.
That's everybody's immediate reaction. Like every video I've seen, people in the comments are just going like, "I'll never this and that."
I mean, rightfully so, right? Like I can understand, and we should all collectively put the fire on ASUS to do better, because I have often been just going buy a Steam Deck, buy an ROG Ally, or buy a Lenovo Legion Go, even though I tend to like the Chinese boutique handhelds. I like what GPD. I love clamshells. So GPD makes clamshells. Those are my favorite devices. They're hard to recommend just because customer service is going to be a problem. If you have any particular issue, sending that back to China is going to suck. It's going to cost you money to send it there. You're going to wait a month to get it back, and you're probably going to be stressing the entire time that your 900 device just went into La La Land that you're never going to see again. So it's a thing that is, ASUS really has to pick it up. And it's kind of funny where I was like, always recommending the Ally, and it was like, okay, you're going to have a better customer service experience, and it's not. And compared to like GPD or Aya Neo, where it costs them money, but then they'll fix it and send it back to you. That's kind of on the same plane as what ASUS is doing with the Ally. So they got to do better, and I'm glad that they are. But the Steam Deck is too good. And once the Steam Deck 2 comes out, it's going to be
that price,
problem all over again. Yeah,
it's so tough not to recommend it. Just get a Steam Deck Pro. Really does take on a new meaning. But I want to know what games you picked up.
Oh yeah, so it was all pretty much the Assassin's Creed collection, Far Cry collection, and I picked up some other stuff while I go look what that is. Let you guys see what you bought. Rob
and Aish, what did you guys get?
I haven't really gotten anything. Hogwarts Legacy, that's about it.
Yeah, I think Wreckfest
is awesome.
Yeah, Wreckfest. Yeah, and
got a good Android port too.
Forza 4 as well. Yeah, I had to get Forza 4 and Momodora, which is an awesome Metroidvania. Love that series. Aish or Rob, how about you, man? You fall victim to the Gabe wallet rating.
Shadow of War. What?
Problem is they already took my
out of you.
Before, so.
Oh, okay.
That's the only issue.
Well, Kingdom Hearts is on Steam now, so that's cool. Warner Bros. Is having a sale. Capcom.
So
that time of year.
The only other thing that I bought outside of Ubisoft games, I bought Axiom Verge 2. I bought it on Epic. I bought it on Epic. It's the only game I ever bought on Epic Game Store, only because I support Thomas Happ, and I wanted to send that guy money, so I bought the game twice. I bought Axiom Verge. It was like $6 on Steam. So if you haven't played Axiom Verge 2 or Axiom Verge 1, you have to play them. They're amazing Metroidvania games.
Great games.
I bought Blade Runner, the Enhanced Edition, The Room 4 Old Sins, Celeste, because I never owned it on Steam. I only owned it on I had it on Game Pass and on Epic Game Store. They gave it away for free. So I've always kind of like not bought it, but it was like $2 or whatever, so I bought it. Bloons TD6, I own all of those now.
I picked that up too.
Battlefield 5 Definitive Edition, because it was like $5.
Yeah.
Zombie Army 4, the complete pack, and Hitman World of Assassination Part 1, so I can complete my Hitman collection.
Well, there's some recommends for folks. Good call, man. Also, for people looking for more deals, we have another RH Weekly of deals on our site. So if you're looking for the V10, any 618 devices, or the 618 Summer Shopping Festival, rather, is what Powkitty's having. There probably are some T618 devices available. RG556, MSI Claw, SanDisk Ultra 1.5. Ooh, it's down to 109. It's been kind of sitting around there lately anyways. MIUI 30 for 28. RG Cube 158. That's not bad. Where's that from? Go over here real quick. AliExpress.
Saw that,
okay.
That Civilization 6 is $299. That's a crazy deal.
Yeah. So device deals right now, game deals. And really, that's all we had for that. Everybody, before we get out of here, let's throw a couple questions at our guest. The Phawx, man, you're normally on the Nerd Nest podcast. So how's it feel being on this? It's a little different vibe, right? It's a little bit more chaotic.
It's cool. No, I got to do more. I think I have to do a podcast. I've always been thinking about that. But I don't know.
I want to be on your podcast.
I don't know, dude. I have to figure something out. I have to do more on my channel as it is.
Well, Yeah, how's the grind been lately? Are you
work
the burn?
Yeah, work has been terrible. Red
Same.
Hat. So Red Hat, actually, just Red Hat 7 is end of life yesterday. So Red Hat 8 is what we need to do, and we're still sprinting to get that done. Where I am, there's 14 data centers, 3,000 machines, and the team of it's atrocious. We're just nonstop sprinting. For the New York data centers, I've been racking and stacking, and then migrating. I've been doing nonstop work every day, all day. Like the month of April, I think I worked like 240 hours just for my job, and I tried getting YouTube stuff in there. It's been murder.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear it. My day job's been crazy lately too. I'm just so very tired.
Yeah,
just like at the end of my rope. I wanted to get my A1 Unicorn video done this weekend, but it just didn't work out time wise. And now it's almost like I shared a lot of my intro thoughts on here, so I'm like, do I do a video? I'll still do a video for the emulation testing stuff, but it's been a lot, man. So yeah, I can feel you on that, and it's an onslaught. But we have a question actually from Michael Benny. Question for the Phawx: what is the story behind the name the Phawx?
So nothing too crazy here. So when Xbox first came out, and also before that was like Quake. I don't know if you guys ever remember M Player, back in the old PC days.
Yeah.
So my buddies and I, we made a short film on like a camcorder, and it was called Team One, and we all had bird call signs. I was Hawk. There was Raven, Condor, all the other ones. So I was T1 Hawk, and that was our clan name was Team One. But you couldn't really do a clan name, so I just kind of put T1 space Hawk in Xbox as my gamer tag. And then we kind of stopped playing, and I was like, I don't really want to do this because people are calling me Tony Hawk and all this other stuff when we're playing. So I'm like, let me change this. And I like the Hawk name, and I was thinking like, what is it? And I put the P in front of the Hawk, and I was like, oh. And I was thinking like Guy Fawkes, and I was like, man, there's a lot you can do with this. So
this Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, this Guy Fawkes.
All your shirts, yeah.
Yeah, so this is that's where Phawx came from. It was an iteration on T1 Hawk, the old clan name that I had, and the moniker that I had, and that's all it is.
That's all she wrote. Well, it's good to
Phawx. How do you feel about recent meme sensation?
This Guy Fawkes?
No, this
the
girl with the
Hawk Tua-ing of the nation right now.
Yeah. It's surprising how viral that is. I'm surprised it hasn't burned out, because it's like a bunch of new ones. Have you seen the Blur video?
Yeah. Hawk Tua. The
Hadouken one I've seen.
Hadouken one's good. Yeah.
If she don't Hawk Tua, I don't talk to her.
What is your favorite butt rock band?
I don't know what a butt rock band is.
It's like Creed, you know? It's like early 2000s alt rock.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Breaking Benjamin, Chevelle.
Breaking Benjamin. Well, so Breaking Benjamin is amazing. I didn't know that they were an alt band, though. I thought they were like a rock band.
I don't know. It's this. Okay, this is Zoo's category that he always.
Breaking Benjamin is a butt rock band. I'm not familiar with that term. Then 100%, Breaking Benjamin is amazing. I freaking love Breaking Benjamin.
Deal. I don't know that they are, because they're really good. I think it's like the music that you listen to at the bar. You know, it's like people put on Creed with arms wide open like that. What is that? I don't know.
Okay, no, so 90s wise,
it's bad, but it's a good guilty pleasure.
It says it's a subgenre of hard rock, strongly influenced by the post-grunge new metal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think then Breaking Benjamin
could work. Yeah.
If that should,
I think they're on amazing. The outer edges. Yeah, they are.
I love so many Breaking Benjamin songs, like "Follow Me,"
"Diary of Jane."
Dude, the song that they were in Halo 2.
Yep. Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could just say Nickelback. It's fine.
No, we can't put those two too close together. No,
I just did.
No, you can't. Oh, this is no. Yeah, people call it divorced dad rock as well.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Also, I have a question for you as well. Can you please enlighten us, sir? Let me just get this ready here. Just everybody calm. down. What is this?
Could someone remind me how many looks does it take to get to the center? Sometimes I just have like random thoughts, and I'm like, I'll just tweet that out. Yeah. So I was on a Discord with my buddies, a very small Discord buddies I grew up with, and he's like, I don't know how many whoopie pies is too much for me, but it's but four is too little, and 2 is. He basically was saying the number 3, and I was like, "That's how many licks it takes to get to the center of Disrupt Pop." So that's why. That's
how
why.
many licks does it take to get to the center of Disrupt Pop? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
You never know.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, we may never know.
We may never.
It's only for old people that understand this. This is like a barometer test of like just seeing how many people are old enough that I actually know what the hell I'm talking about.
I'm sure somebody in some lab made like a licking robot, and they're figuring out as we speak.
I'm pretty sure I've seen
Michael
that.
Benny.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Also,
Careful with
most,
Michael Benny.
he'll get you. What's your most prized retro gaming possession you own? From Andrew.
What is my in terms of like hardware or like a game?
Yeah, like a gaming device. Hardware, yeah. No, he just says prized retro gaming possession. So I guess interpret it how you will.
Hardware, software, I guess.
My favorite one. Let me see. I have a bunch. I'm gonna go with the Chrono. I'm gonna say my Chrono Trigger US box that I got in the 90s.
That's nice.
So very quickly, I don't want to take up too much time. I played the dream team of JRPGs. I never really played JRPGs all that much growing up, but then I went to Blockbuster. First JRPG I ever played, Chrono Trigger. I loved it. I rented it again.
Beautiful.
Never finished it. When I rented it the second time, someone deleted my save. Like flat out just deleted everything. Like, dude, like whenever I would rent the game at Blockbuster, I would be like, who has the most progress? I'm not going to delete his. I'm going to delete who has like the least amount of progress. I would like look, and like this dude just like deleted everything, like just completely wiped everything out. I'm like, what was the point of that? You only made one save. There's 2 that are open now. Anyway, I wound up buying it then.
Well, that's a good backstory. I'm glad you have it, sir. But I want to know, what is your thoughts on Stubbs Nubs, and which one's your favorite?
We talked about this at Computex. I didn't believe that this was actually a thing.
No one does.
You didn't believe in Stubbs Nubs?
Not at all.
I have. Look, now I can show you. Actually, you were like, you're lying to me, and I was like, no, I can prove it to you. Look, I have. Oh God, see, they're all falling out, but there were 2 more there, and they were awesome.
Yeah, you showed me the video that Clef had done.
That's right.
The review. It's such an absurd thing. I mean, I'm glad that you're selling them. That's a cool thing. I mean,
your pancreas. I'm not a doctor, but
oh right, I remember you telling me this. This pseudo.
The Stubbs Nubs go in the same category as the Tessen controller.
Yeah, straight in the drawer.
You're not going to carry around extra nubbins with you wherever you go?
No, I mean, no, not at all.
They're $4 in the description now. Act now while you can.
Yeah, might be gone.
We already took the ring off the market after the incident. Who knows which one might be taken off the market for a weird incident next?
Yeah, it's true.
There's
some value to that.
All right, so I'm going to send you your review unit. What color would you want for your review unit for your nubs?
Orange.
Orange. Okay. You hear that?
I love how you said that.
3D printed studio. Make sure to get this man a 4-pack. A 4-pack. Even the ring. The band version.
You know what would be cool if one shows up with like his like pixel picture of the Phawx on it.
Yeah,
that'll happen. That'll happen now. We'll see. Good question.
When setting up the device or across the firmware, do you have a pre-curated list of ROMs for each system, or you just dump everything? Is there a must-have ROM set or a game you put? Oh, okay. So there's 2 good questions. Yes, I do have a review ROM set that I keep preloaded on my NAS. My favorite ROM set that I actually like to recommend to people is Xylem's ROMs.
Ooh.
Would you like to know more about Stubbs' PNAS?
No, we don't. Not going to talk about my penis anymore. Yeah. Michael Benny got me last week. A comment. He's like something. Legitimate question at the end. He's like, what do you think about?
Yeah, he was like, "What do you do with all your extra mini PCs? Do you ever use them for storage?" Like, I'm working on my PNAS right now. So Stubbs just like read that completely. He didn't get it.
like a Ron Burgundy style. He just read off the teleprompter.
Killed me.
It was
killed
beautiful.
Me. It destroyed me for the rest of the episode, just like my Celeste performance destroyed me for this one.
It was beautiful.
Good question. Thank you for your question, Grimlock. A question for the Phawx in the panel: who is or are your favorite video game Phawxes? Star Phawx.
Yeah, Star Phawx. Let me see. There's also there's a hand animated Xbox 360 game was on XBLA. It was
Not Conquer. No. He was on Phawx.
Conquer's actually a really good answer too, though.
He's not a
He's
Phawx,
not a
though, is he?
Phawx.
He's a squirrel.
He's a squirrel.
squirrel.
So,
Yeah.
but there is a Phawx.
One of the best.
I forget the
squirrels
name.
ever, though.
Oh, I forget the
What
name.
about XBLA.
I can only think of the Phawx from Tunic and Star Phawx.
Oh, right, Tunic Fox.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
freaking. I'm gonna go with the Tunic Fox. It's a
Yeah,
good
the
call.
furry link.
Great game.
Yeah.
Tunic, I actually got every achievement on. I love that game.
That game is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite gaming laptop?
Gaming laptop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I typically my criteria for a good gaming laptop is value. So I will. I don't really care for premium stuff, even though I took a look at the G14 and G16 from ASUS, which are very expensive. The OLED panel on that is sensational.
Mm-hmm.
When you really get down to it, I think what most people are going to want is paying very little and getting the most out of the device as much as possible. So when you look in that, you're like in the ASUS Tough series,
Yeah.
and Lenovo has a Legion series that is very inexpensive. Also, Gigabyte makes good laptops that are good value. I actually bought my son a Gigabyte laptop with a 3060 on it. It was like $700 or $800, and he's
Nice.
still rocking it today. So if you can get any gaming laptop with like a 4060 or 4070 on it, I really wouldn't go to like a 4080. They're going to really start gouging you on pricing. Typically, I look at Slick Deals and just put in like 4060 and take a look at
Nice.
laptop deals and see whatever is best bang for my buck.
I have to
And
stay
then
off
take
Slick
reviews.
Deals.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
dangerous place.
That's
But-
I
but-
don't
but
even go
the-
there anymore. I can't.
But
go
the
there
40 series is the worst thing to ever happen to graphics cards.
Why is that?
It's terrible. I don't know. Reddit said so. And
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah.
Apparently,
Reddit.
everybody says like
This guy called the
the-
Phawx
the-
really made this video. I don't
the
know.
40 series is the worst thing to ever happen to Nvidia GPUs.
They're very expensive, but the 4090, I use the 4090 with my GPD WinMax 2, and I love it. It was like the only going from like a 3090 to a
Yeah.
4090 was gigantic. Just because of the raster render performance is a sizable leap. It's like a 70% gain, and you're in the territory now. I want to render at 4K 120, so being able to hit that consistently is important.
I have a 4070 and I'm blown away what it can do. Like if you go by
Yeah.
reviews, people say
It's
like, "Oh, this is terrible," and then you actually get one. You're like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah,
You
I
went,
think.
you went camping.
Oh yeah, Matt HM. Yeah, how was my camping trip? So I went camping for the last week in Sun River out here in Oregon. It was good. You know, with 3 kids. So it was more for the kids, I would say, than the adults. But I snuck in some time to play with my ASUS Tessen, which I did bring with me on my phone, and my Surface Duo I used for the Easy SMX. I brought 2 telescopic controllers, Carrie, this one and the Tessen, to test out and mess with. But that was fun. And I'm glad to be back. Very tired, but I'm working on some content this week. And we're going to wrap up the show, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you have any questions for the Phawx or the panel here, leave them in our not our live chat, but leave them in the comments below. Maybe he'll check back if he feels like it. And also, so much you guys for joining me today. Aish, Rob, Carrie, gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. And dude, I want to have you back on very shortly.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks, guys.
We should have
Really
some
happy
more
to have you
retro
here.
fights. Yeah, it's nice to have a more.
We didn't even
dissenting
get into
opinion.
the Xbox handheld.
Well,
That's
we'll
what I was
get
excited
into it
for,
next.
like,
well,
that's-
we'll
I even put on
calm
my
down
Xbox
now.
shirt.
Yeah, that's
Now,
all I was
fist,
here for. I was
fist,
like, what are we going to talk about?
everybody
The Xbox
shirt on
Handhelds.
for this.
I was ready to fight
no.
Robin Stubbs with
well,
their
thank you
ARC
so much for
talk.
watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Wait, I have so much to talk about.
No, we gotta go. Thanks to our subs, patrons, members. You guys are awesome, making this show and everything we do here just a little bit easier on us. Thank you so much. Live chat. I hope you're having a great night. People listening at home, take it easy. On behalf of these gentlemen, Aish, Rob, Carrie, check them out at the Phawx, at Aish Talks Tech, at Rob the Retro Tech Dad. Happy 50K, sir. This has been Stubbs on behalf of these dudes. Take care of those handhelds. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
So about that Xbox handheld.